Well, I was married while I was in nurses training, and I met my husband who went on he came home in summer from college, and I met him for 2 years. I had known him, and he was in Texas at a field where he was still learning to be a pilot. And he called me and asked me if I would marry him, and we agreed to meet in Portland. He came to Portland and we were married, and I finished, and then we were together for about a month, and then in the meantime I finished my service in the Children's Hospital there, and he left for England. He was a pilot on a B-17 plane, and we were married about 7 months when my husband was killed. He was on a mission over Germany, and when they were flying, they were attacked by German planes, and his plane crashed in Denmark. Well, actually, the only thing I knew was that he had been killed, because all information was classified for years. The air historian in Denmark sent me a lot of information. He even sent me a picture of the plane. My husband was the pilot, so he was the last. There are 10 men on a plane like that, and he was the last one off. And the plane was too low, and his parachute didn't open. And only 2 men survived. Some of them went down in the sea nearby the island. One man was picked up by the Danish fishermen tried to pick him up, but the Germans didn't allow them to pick him up. So they picked him up and left the man on the deck. Well, it was February, so the water was terribly cold, and he died on the deck probably. He was still on the deck when the Germans brought him into the harbor. And there were only 2 survivors, and long before we found all the information, nobody knew where they were. The group didn't know. They wrote to me several times. There was one man who was probably in World War II, and he was the historian of the 452nd Bomb Group, and he sent me he was wonderful. He died about 2 years ago, and he had all kinds of information, and then I get a little pamphlet every month from them, and so I kept up with that. But then about 2.5 years later, I met my second husband, and I was a very lucky person. Both my husbands were really wonderful, and I have 3 children by my second husband. So I've had a very good life. I've lived in about 5 different countries. So that's why then I joined the Army. Just, I think it was something to do, probably. And I volunteered to go overseas. So I was in the Philippines, and I was in Manila when the war ended. It took us 31 days to get to Manila, and then I went to a small island south of Manila. It's called Leyte, and then I went back to Manila when the Army was, so everybody was in Okinawa fighting again. I had a wonderful life, and I have 3 very good children that are very good to me. So I'm a lucky person, really.